Hey beautiful people, you welcome back to the channel. So with Naomi. In this tutorial we'll be learning how to make this trending beautiful Ankara jumbo pants. If this is something you'd love to learn, please stay tuned. Okay, so for this jumbo pants we'll be needing about 2.5 to 3 yards of fabric, depending on how big you want it to be. So we'll be starting by establishing our starting points, which will serve as our waistline, and then I'll be having a band of 2 inches, which I'm going to be taking out from the total length of my trouser, which is 45 inches. So as you can see, I'm starting from 1.5. that is I added back the ½ inch I'll be using to join back the band, and then I took my measurement from there. 45 plus 2 inches extra, I marked 47 inches, and that is what we'll be marking out. You have to add the 2 inches extra is for folding back the hem and joining the band. So after that, we'll be measuring what we have on fold. For my fold, I did my hip measurement plus 8 inches, extra 8 inches. So you can have more depending on how big you want the pants to come out. So on the waistline, I'm going to be marking my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches extra for ease. So you mark your hip measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches extra. So my hip measurement is 42 inches divided by 4 is going to give us 10.5 plus 2 inches plus 4 inches extra, that's 14.5. Then I went ahead to mark my hip line. So to get your hip line, you're going to measure from your waist down to the fullest part of your hip. That's where you get your hip line. And then the next line is the crotch depth line. To get your crotch depth line, all you need to do is divide your hip measurement by 4, and then you add extra 1.5 to 2 inches. So I did my hip measurement divided by 4 plus extra 1.5, which gave me 12 inches, and that is what I marked there. So the next thing we're going to do now is put down our measurements. The measurements we have at the waist, we are going to be marking it the same measurements on the hip line and the crotch depth line. So we are marking that 14.5 that we have at the waist. We are going to be marking it on our hip line and crotch depth line. And then let's take our waist to knee line. So remember to always take out your band measurements, whatever you'll be using as your band, as you mark each of these lines, so you don't have excess at the end of the day. So after marking this line, we are going to go ahead now and connect the measurements we have from our waist to our crotch depth line. The next measurement we'll be needing is a crotch extension, and for the crotch extension, you do your hip measurements divided by 20 inches. For me it was 2.1, but I just approximated it to 2.5, and then you go out by an angle of 90 by 1 inch, and then you connect everything. So for your crotch curve, you divide your hip measurement by 20 to get your crotch extension, and then you connect. So at the knee line, I went in by 1 inch. This is totally optional. Since it's a baggy pants, it's a free pants, it's not really necessary to do that going in by 1 inch at the hip line, but I just wanted it to have a little bit shape at the side. That's why I did that. So I did that, and then I removed 2 inches from what I had at my crotch line, and that was the measurement I used at the hip line. So it's totally optional. You can decide to go with whatever you have at the hip line. Like at my hip line, I had 16 inches. I had 17 inches. Then I used 15 inches at the knee line and hemline. But you can just go with whatever you have at the crotch line. It won't make any difference, not that much. So whatever you have at your knee line, you take it down to your hemline, and then you connect everything. So we are done with the connecting. We connect it back to the crotch line, and then we are going to be cutting this out. We are actually done drafting the front. This is a simple pattern, right? Yeah, I know. Very easy and very simple. You should be done with your pants, both cutting and sewing, in like less than an hour. In an hour anyways. So we are cutting out the front. It should be done in less than an hour. Yeah. For the back pattern, we'll be placing our front pattern to get the back pattern. All you need to do is just add some extra measurements. So at the top, we'll be adding 1.5 inches at the center back line. That will be connecting it to the waist. Then at the crotch line, we are going to extend the back by 2.5. If you have a bigger hip, you can extend by 3 inches. 3 inches. So we'll be doing 2.5 for the extension for the back, and we are going to connect it to the center back line like that. Just connect it like that for the back crotch curve. Now the next thing we are going to be doing is we are going to add 2 inches to the inseam for extra ease at the back. So we'll be adding extra 2 inches at the inseam, and then at the side we'll be adding 1 inch for seam allowance. We'll be adding 1 inch for our seam allowance at the sides. After adding all this, we are just going to connect all the lines, and then we cut out the back. So remember, you are not adding 1 inch straight. It's going to be coming like a slope. So it's only the center back that is going to be raised so that to accommodate the bum. After connecting, we are just going to connect everything and cut it out. So beautiful people, if you have been watching up until this point, do give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and most importantly, please subscribe to the channel. Endeavor to share so other people can benefit from the video. And don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you get notified each time we post a new video. Now we're done cutting our front and back. The next thing we want to do is work on the front to get our pockets. So from the side, we're going to be going in by 3 inches, and we're going to come in by 7 inches. So you go in by 3 inches and come down by 7 inches and connect with a slant line. Then we are going to be cutting that off. After cutting it off, we'll get a piece of fabric that we're using for the pockets. So we have 4 pieces here, 2 for the facing and 2 for the pocket bag. So we are going to be working on the facing first. To get the pocket facing, we are just going to give the measurement for this pocket is for the pocket I did 8 inches for the width and 12 inches for the length, but if you have enough fabric, you could do 14 inches for the length. So all you need to do is just place it underneath the front pattern and cut it exactly how the trouser pattern was cut. After that, you open up your fabric and place the pocket facing right sides with the fabric. So we are going to be using that to turn the pocket. That's why we call it the pocket facing. So we use it to turn it. We're just going to sew it by 0.25 and top stitch it on the pocket. So go in and sew it, and then you top stitch on the pocket, so you have a neat finishing on the outside. The sewing will not be coming out and the pocket is going to lay flat inside. After that, we'll be putting a pocket bag. So you just need to place it how the pocket is, the other square we cut out, just place it on it, and then we are going to sew. So I just want to shape this a bit so it doesn't get into our seam line. So I just shaped it a bit so the pocket bag doesn't get into our seam line. So after doing that, you use this one to cut the second one. Remember, when you are cutting, always put the right sides together so you don't end up coming out with one side. So always cut right sides facing each other. So we are going to go now and sew, close out the pocket bag. All you need to do is just stitch on half inch. You stitch half inch. After doing that, you are going to just stitch down the pockets on the fabric. So, and then we'll sew the front crotch by half an inch. Here we are, we have done that. We have stitched down our pockets and also the center front, that's the front crotch. Next thing we'll be doing is we are going to be joining the front to the back. So you sew your center back, and then we are going to be joining the sides and the inseam. So just place your front on the back like this, or place the back on the front and just sew it down. We've done that. Everything is nicely stitched down, and I also went ahead to hem the down of the trouser. So the next thing I want to do now is work on the band. So you are going to be taking the measurements of your waist round the pants. Whatever measurement you get, you are going to be cutting it in a long strip of 5 inches. So remember, I am to be using a band of 2 inches. So the fabric is on fold. 2 multiply 2, that's for the two sides, front and the facing, that's 4 inches, and then extra 1 half inch. We are doing a band of 2 inches. So instead of 5 inches, just do 5.5 to allow the elastic move freely inside. So for the length, you have to do your waist, whatever you got at the waist, plus 1 inch also for seam. Now, because we are going to be having a rope inside the trouser, I'm going to be showing you how to close it and leave the space for the rope. So for the one that will be facing the front, that's the one that I folded half inch in. I've already ironed that out. I'm going to sew in half inch, and then I'm going to leave 0.75 and then sew the rest. As you can see it here, we sewed in half inch, we left 0.75 and then sew the rest. That way you have the hole for the rope to pass in. Now I'm going to be using this 2 inch elastic band. It's actually 1.75 to get how much elastic you need for your waist, just place your elastic on your pants this way. Put your pants into 2 like this as it is. Measure it 1 and then you add extra 1 inch. Place your elastic band on your pants waist, add extra 1 inch. That's for only one side from the front as it is. So we are going to go now and fix the elastic into our band. So we will be closing this elastic band. After closing it, in order for us to make it easy for us, we are going to be marking our elastic in 4 ways, 4 parts. That's for the center front, the side front, the center front, center back, and the 2 sides. And then we'll be doing that same markings on the band so that we can pin the elastic to the band, because we are going to be stretching the elastic and we want an even stretch. We don't want a stretch that is going to be one-sided, so we want an even stretch. So we are going to be putting that mark on the mark that we made on the band. So each mark on the band, we place it on the elastic. Each mark we have on the elastic, we place that same mark on the band and just together, so that when we are stretching the elastic, we are going to have an even stretch. So one part will not be stretchier than the rest. So that is just what we are going to do. After that, we are going to go over to the machine and sew. So you pin it down and then you stretch as you sew. Stretch as you sew. Stretch the elastic as you sew. So we are just going to, you're going to sew on like a half inch from the top. Make sure your elastic touches the top of the band. So we are going to sew down by half inch from the top. Stretch as you sew, remember. So on that, this is the outcome. As you can see, we've gone ahead to sew the elastic. Now we are going to be joining the band to the pants. So we'll be doing the same mark, or you can notch on your pants, so that we can have the band and the elastic, everything sitting pretty at the end of the day. So that is what we are going to do. Just mark it and then pin it down the same way we down the elastic. We are going to be pinning down the band to the trouser, and then we sew in the first seam, then top stitch with the half inch that we already ironed, so it will be easier for us. That is why we pressed the half inch in the first place, so we can a neat finishing at the end. So after, we are just going to pin it down and sew. After it, we are still going to top stitch just below the rope opening, the opening for the rope. We are going to stitch again. We are going to run another round on that opening. So as you can see, this is what we have. The finishing was very nice. So we have our opening there, and then we are going to just make a rope for the trouser. For the trouser rope, you just need a fabric that is a width of 2 inches. You are going to be folding in half inch twice, and then sew it. After that, pass it into the trouser, and here we can see the outcome of the trouser. So nice. Please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video. Most importantly, please subscribe. Thank you very much.